We've added and subtracted polynomials. Now we're going to multiply them. And there are 3 different methods we're going to talk about in this flip. 2 of them work all the time. 1 of them only works for specific styles of problems. But that's okay. You're going to pick the one that you like the best, and that's the one you're going to use. There are a few places where you're going to have to use the distributive property or you're going to have to use table, but then once we've practiced with some, it's going to be up to you making the choice to do them the way you're most comfortable. Okay, so the first one is distributive property, and we've kind of dealt with this a little bit, but not a whole lot. And so if there was just the one term, right, you would distribute n, no big deal. But now there's 2. So we're going to do exactly that. We're going to take this 2x and distribute it to the x minus 4. And then we're going to take the negative 3 and distribute it to the x minus 4 also, because they're both being multiplied by what's inside here. Once we do that, 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 4, negative 8x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. And then I'm just going to combine the like terms, which are here in this one, right here in the middle together. 2x squared, negative 8, minus 3 is negative 11x plus 12. There aren't any other like terms. There's no more simplifying we can do. That's it. Okay, easy enough. We just distributed twice because there were 2 things in this front set of parentheses. Now another option, you're going to see it called the table method. Sometimes it's also called the box method. And what we're going to do is we're going to make like a big multiplication table. Think about your times tables that had 1 through 10, 1 through 10, and you fill in all the little boxes to get your answers. We're going to do that here. This is nicer sometimes, especially if these get longer, but we're going to organize it. We're going to start with the 2x and the negative 3. We're going to write 2x and make a row and negative 3 and close that off. And then along the other side we're going to do x squared, x, and negative 4. So here makes our box, which is why it's called the box method, because this is where my answers are going to be. And we're going to fill these boxes the same way we do your times tables, if you remember doing those from elementary school. So let's look. I've got x squared times 2x. That's 2x cubed. And then x times 2x is 2x squared. Negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x. Okay, and then the same thing, only now we're looking with the negative 3. So x squared times negative 3 is negative 3x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. Negative 4 times negative 3 is positive 12. Okay. Now, if we've laid things out in order and been really careful about it, when I start looking for like terms, I'm going to have these kind of opposing corners that don't have any like terms. So I can go ahead and write down the 2x cubed. And then look at what happens diagonally. There are my x squareds. So negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1x squared. Here are my x terms. Negative 3 minus 8, negative 11x, and then there is no like term here, plus 12, and I've written out the simplified version. Okay, especially if you're not willing to draw the distribution lines, the box may help you keep more organized, or the table, we can call it either one. Again, we're going to have you practice both, and then you can choose which one you prefer. Okay. Now, last we're going to look at FOIL, and this is something that probably even your parents remember at least hearing. It stands for firsts, outsides, insides, lasts. Okay, and so that's what FOIL stands for. And so what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the firsts in each set. So this is the first one, and this is the first one. So when I multiply those, I get 2x squared. And then the outsides, so the outside one here and the outside one there, 2x times -4 is -8x. The insides, so these two right here, -3 times x, -3x. And last ones, so the last one in each set, -3 times -4 is +12. Okay. So it's basically the same distribution method, but FOIL only works when you have a binomial and a binomial. Okay, so it's fairly limited. It only works then. Still get my terms. My like terms ended up in the middle again. 2x squared minus 11x plus 12. Okay, so 3 methods. I can separate and distribute twice. I want to probably draw the lines just to make sure I don't forget anything. It's not required, but you do need to keep organized so that you simplify correctly. Okay, the table or the box method, a really straightforward way to kind of make you stay organized, and then you just fill it the same way you do the old 100 table when you were doing learning multiplication. Or FOIL, which if this is what you're going to remember, you have to also remember it only works when you've got 2 binomials, because you've got your firsts, your outsides, your insides, and your lasts. If there were any extra terms in there, they wouldn't get picked up by this, so it only works here.